Hey, welcome along to ForeverFit.tv. I'm Nicola Smith, your online personal trainer, nutrition and lifestyle coach. Now today's show is brought to you by our awesome online yoga retreat that is going to be kicking off very, very soon. So if you aren't joining us, make sure you do check it out at foreverfityoga.com. We've got 21 days of amazing yoga, all filmed in the Coromandel, New Zealand, and it is just going to be an amazing experience that you can just simply do in your living room, because too often we just don't have enough time to get to a gym, or we're too scared to try a new type of exercise regime, or you may have never even tried yoga, so it's opening up this whole new world that you've never ever experienced, and that kind of thing can be a bit daunting. And so that's why these things are just so awesome that you can just do them in the comfort of your living room. Just doesn't take up much time. You can do it in your pajamas first thing in the morning with the fire lit, if that's the way that it works for you, or before you head off to bed, and it's just going to suit your lifestyle, and it's just about putting time aside that is right for you to nourish your body, to rejuvenate it. And if you're in New Zealand at this time of year, you know it's kind of cold and chilly and we've got the fires lit, and it's a perfect time to be doing this. But if you're over the other side of the world and it's summertime, well then again it's just another great opportunity to put that time in to really take care of your body, and getting rid of the excuses of, you know, not having access to things. And now as long as you've got internet, you've got access to it. And so on that note with yoga, I thought today's show, I'm actually going to talk about all the different styles of yoga that there is out there and what ones you might like to try, because my yoga and the yoga that's in the online gym isn't a particular style. It's my collaboration of all the different things that I love about yoga. So I've done a few different methods of yoga in the past, and traditionally I was training with Les Mills, who did the body balance classes, and so I've learnt a lot via that. And then I've done a few different sort of courses where I've just learnt about a few different styles of yoga, but I'm not putting any kind of name or style or anything onto what I do. It's just what I feel right, and the flow that feels right for my body at that time, and an accumulation of particular like mobility stretches as well. And it's just about, it's kind of my collaboration, and I really should put a name on it. Like, as you're going to hear, there's all these different types of yoga that there is out there, and there is a lot of people coming up with their yoga brand, their yoga style and name, but I'll just go with Forever Yoga for now. But it's sometimes we have power yoga where it's much more intense, but then sometimes we have really slow, long holds where it's stretches that will hold for like 3 minutes to get right deep into the ligaments and the stretches, and then sometimes it's a 10-minute short sun salutations routine. So there's never one style. And it's all about just doing what the body needs on that day and just nurturing it. And so there's all the different types of yoga that you can choose from. But then I'm kind of getting into now as well, starting to get more sort of like gymnastic style moves into the yoga. But this isn't in the yoga retreat, but this is something that I'm wanting to add on later once people have gone through the yoga retreat and they're ready for that kind of next layer, where we work on things like our handstands and headstands. And I am absolutely shocking at these, and I don't know if you've been looking at, I've got an Instagram account, and also on Facebook I'm sharing a few of them as well, where I'm just sharing my progressions of how I'm trying to improve my headstands and handstands. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's just giving me that thing to step outside my comfort zone, and it's giving me a way to stay active and something to play around with and something that's fun. And this is what's so important when we're looking at our health and our fitness, is just doing something that is outside running on a treadmill and outside of, you know, just exercise because you have to exercise. I want you to be moving your body and exercising your body because you love it and because it feels good, and finding ways to do that. And so at the moment I'm not able to ride my horse, and so this is what I'm doing as a replacement, as something just to really work on, and it's ultimately going to help my riding later on as well. And it's also something that's a good challenge for me to be doing outside of exercise and outside of other things. So I'm going to be sharing that journey, and going to be putting that in the online gym as well, a whole kind of mobility gymnastics style thing, like how to improve your flexibility through your back and just real detailed stretching using mobility tubes and all that kind of stuff. So really looking forward to bringing that as the next layer after the yoga retreat too. So again, that hasn't got a particular name or a style. It's just what I know that I'm really enjoying, and I think that you guys will enjoy that as well. So can't wait to share that with you too. And so in terms of different styles of yoga, there's so many out there, and yoga has been something that can leave people feeling pretty confused. Like, should they try Ashtanga yoga or Bikram, or should they do a Vinyasa style of yoga? And it's something that if you've been looking at, you want to try yoga out, but it's not for you, and because you're just confused, and those names just sort of freak you out a little bit, but they seem kind of similar at the same time, and it can all just get very overwhelming as to know what is the best style to try out. And there's positive sides of the different yoga varieties, and it's almost guaranteed that you find a yoga class that suits you and your needs, and that could be within both of those fields, because they can vary within each style, can vary within each class that they appear in, within a timetable of what they're working on. And so with yoga, it's becoming much more mainstream, and there's way more yoga studios and more instructors out there, and the original perception of the practice is kind of starting to change as well. And so yoga is very much like a lot of forms of exercises. Like, you can get laughing yoga, you can get yoga hip hop, you can get power yoga, you can get nude yoga. There is a lot of different styles of yoga out there at the moment, and so this is so if you've been a bit worried about but you've been wanting to try it, but you obviously don't want to turn up to a nude yoga class, then this is where trying out in the comfort of your own home is quite a cool thing to do. So you can just get a taste of what yoga can be like. And then once you've had that sort of taste, then you can kind of start to explore the different options that are out there and just find which area suits you, because there is a lot. And also it depends on the availability, like where do you live? I know where I am right now, there's no yoga around. So this is my only option, is to do yoga by myself and to share it with you guys. So often we don't have access to a whole lot of variety, or you might have access to a yoga studio, but the instructor might be, someone you don't really like, or the instructor might be somebody perfect, and then they're away, or you don't want to let outside circumstances affect your practice, is what I'm trying to say. So you can that's the awesome thing about the modern world, is we have access to so many different styles of yoga, and if you don't like my style of yoga, there's plenty of other yoga that you can get your hands on as well. So it's always something right, and I guess my message is that I just would love you to experience the power of yoga and what it can do for your body, your mind, your energy, and just so much more. So it's just about giving it a go. So one of the first styles of yoga is one called Hatha Yoga, and this is one that has 6 original branches, and it's a foundation of nearly all the modern styles of yoga practice. Ha represents the sun, and Tha represents the moon, which alludes to the opposites in life, similar to yin and yang, or dark and light, and calm and excited. And the exact date of when this yoga practice started is kind of unknown, because it was one of the earliest written forms of references is in 1100 AD. And so the main principle of this Hatha Yoga is that the physical body comprises both materiality and mentality. Those are both really hard words to say. And so through the practice of Hatha, one can transform their body and their mind and their complex and obtain like supernatural powers and a sense of liberation. And this is the form of yoga that was originally designed to prepare people and the body for meditation. Today, Hatha is all about the physical practice as opposed to more of the chanting practice, and the pace is slow and gentle with a strong focus on breathing techniques, asanas, meditation and basic poses. And this practice aims to kind of reinvigorate both the body and the mind. So this kind of yoga is it is much slower paced, so it's a great style for beginners or anyone who who needs to really calm down and de-stress. It's a foundation of many different styles of yoga, and you'll see a glimpse of it turn up in different classes and different places. So often this is the thing with yoga today, is that there is a lot of things that is an accumulation of all the different styles. For example, like body balance is where there's a whole lot of different things within that. That's got Tai Chi, it's got Pilates, it's got some yoga, it's got all these different things coming into it, and then it's bringing out to a general experience that feels amazing for the participants to try. And so then that can be a mashup of all the different things. But then once you start to get much more fine-tuned at your yoga, this is where you might want to just experience the true holistic Hatha Yoga. And so from the calming form of yoga, of Hatha Yoga, there's also Ashtanga Yoga as well. So this is the next style. And this is often referred to as power yoga due to its ability to really get your heart rate up. And its literal meaning is the 8 limbs, referring to the 8 essential practices, including yama, moral restraints, niyama, observances, asana, posture, pranayama, breath extensions, sensory withdrawal, concentration, meditation, and meditation absorption. The practice of Ashtanga is that it's traced back to Mysore in India, which is almost 5,000 years ago, and this is said to be a vigorous form of yoga, and it was about focusing the mind's energy, and it was also used in like teenage schoolboys to really focus their attention, their mind, and keeping them on challenge. So the cool thing about Ashtanga classes today is you can expect a series of 6 poses that will be held for 5 breaths before swiftly moving on to the next. And then you'll continuously go on, and you might even feel like you're undertaking some kind of sort of spiritual practice. And so a pure Ashtanga class, if you're looking for a more athletic style of yoga, could be a really good choice for you. And especially if you're a newbie to yoga and you want to experience a more slower pace, you might want to try a slower pace yoga before you jump into an Ashtanga one as well. So this can be it's about kind of knowing what you're ready for. And so then the next style of yoga on from that, so we've started with Hatha Yoga, which is slow, then we've gone to Ashtanga, which is your power yoga, much more faster, and then we've got Vinyasa Yoga. And so this is one of the most smoothest flowing forms of yoga. It's often referred to as flow, which requires your mind to be focused in the present, otherwise you'll miss out on the sequences. So not too dissimilar to that of like a dance class. And the term Vinyasa means that your breath is synchronized with the movement. So like many styles of yoga, Vinyasa originated from the Hatha Yoga, which we started with, and this was influenced heavily by the Ashtanga Yoga. And then the basic principle of the practice is about continuous movement of breath, and it's about the power of inhaling and exhaling that assists you through each of the series of poses that you go through. So Vinyasa can be really good for anyone from a beginner through to more of an experienced yoga person. And the pace can differ depending on the teacher of the class. So whether or not it's a slow or a fast-paced class, and whether or not the teacher is wanting vice versa. So it's very, it can change a lot. And there's a lot of different variety and movement in the practice. So no 2 Vinyasa classes are ever the same. So that's something to be kind of aware of. Then we've got Bikram Yoga. So Bikram Yoga is also otherwise known as hot yoga, and it's practiced in a room that's heated to 40.6 degrees and with a humidity of around 40. And so if you're fond of saunas and you kind of like sweat, then this is a good yoga for you to try out. And this originally started in 1970 by the Indian Bikram yogi called Shodhari, and after suffering from a knee injury during a weightlifting accident, Bikram, he was told by the doctors that he'd never walk again. And it wasn't until he started practicing yoga that 6 months later his knee had totally healed, and he went on to devise the 26 posture sequence that now refers to as Bikram. So the principle behind Bikram poses is it has this profound healing power on the body and on the mind, and the heat is believed to help drive a deeper stretch and prevent injury in the process, as well as draw out any toxins. So today the practice is really popular, and it follows a 26 posture sequence with 2 breathing exercise in a hot studio. So the popularity of Bikram is one of the most respected yoga gurus in the world. So it's basically named after him, and he developed it. So the person that would be worth going to try a Bikram class out is someone who, number one, likes heat. If you don't like heat, then you wouldn't want to try it out. And it does require some stamina because it is a long class. Generally, these classes are 90 minutes long. But after a few classes, you really get used to the heat and you can start to really enjoy the great benefits of it. And it's just really important that you stay hydrated in those kind of classes. But if you are a beginner, it can be worth trying it out. You're just taking it at your own pace as well. And if your heat isn't your kind of thing, then you might like to try another style of yoga, which is Yin Yoga. And this is one of the most quieter forms of yoga that there is kind of around, and it's really a highly meditative practice. So the slow pace is designed to take you to a much deeper level than you may have kind of ever been to. And you hold one pose for several minutes and others up to 20 minutes. So this is a technique of holding yoga stretches for a long period of time, and it's been practiced for centuries in China and Taiwan as part of the kind of ancient Taoist yoga. And the system of stretching and movement exercise that coordinates our breathing with certain poses and movements. So the Yin Yoga practice today, in the 1970s by Paulie Zink, he was a martial artist and the Taoist yoga teacher. So it's aptly named that the practice was based on the concepts of yin and yang, yin being stable and unmoving, calm aspect, and yang being the changing, moving, exciting aspect. So this style of yoga technique works real deep on your connective tissue and targets the ligaments, joints, bones, deep fascia, and it's a real slow, stretching, transformative class. And it's in this kind of class that you focus on the lower spine, the hips, the pelvis through passive seated poses, and then enhances the flow with chi through your breath and improves the energy and flow through your body as well. So those that would want to try a Yin Yoga class is people who just really want to relax. They want to quieten the mind and really focus on breathing. And then Yin Yoga is a really good choice, and it's really beneficial for those who want to really release a lot of tension in your overworking joints, or if you've got some real imbalances that you're wanting to work on as well. Then we've got Delaney Yoga, and so this focuses on releasing energy located at the base of the spine, and so through the practice, this energy is allowed to move up through the body, and it's like coiled like a sleeping snake, and it's just waiting for you to release. And so by doing this sort of stretching, we awaken the body. And so this kind of yoga awareness was originally taught by Yogi Bhajan, and the dates go back to the 5th century. And the objective of this practice is to connect with your inner human awareness and the power to recognise, refine it and expand it, and provide clarity and the ability to deeply listen and cultivate stillness, and ultimately help you thrive. So a typical Kundalini class, you'll focus on the effects of your breath while incorporating meditation, breathing techniques, chanting and yoga poses. So this is great for someone who might want a more of a meditative or a more of a spiritual element to the yoga practice. It's really soothing and centering, and upon completing the class you'll feel really grounded and focused. And so then those are kind of common ones, but then there's some more newer forms of yoga or less well-known forms of yoga. So this is I just want to go through a few of these, and it kind of just highlights how many options there are out there. And of the ones above that I've just talked about, every single one of these within the yoga within the online gym, I have aspects of every single one of these. Like some of the slow yogas that I encourage you to do before bed, we're holding the poses really, really long. So this is your Yin Yoga, and this is much more gentle. We're just breathing. We're asking the ligaments to release, the muscles to release. And we're just doing that with some really soothing music in the background. And then we've got more powerful yoga. Then we've got a Vinyasa flows, where we're doing sun salutation flows. So there's a little taste of every single one of these, although I don't put them into the same kind of names. I come up with my own kind of names. But you're getting aspects of all of these sorts of styles of yoga. So then we've got Java Mukti Yoga. So this was formed in 1984 by New Yorkers Sharon Gadden and David Life. The term translates to liberation while living, and this practice is based on the Vinyasa style of yoga, and it's delivered in a themed class, and often including music, chanting, and even ancient kind of readings. None of these kind of classes are really available in New Zealand, but as the flow sequences are mostly practiced in New York City. But it's often real traditionalists that practice this physical, spiritual form of yoga. And this is due to the fact that it's very educational and encourages students to apply yoga philosophy into their daily lives. And it's like I said, it's very common within New York City. But if you're interested in trying that kind of thing out, these kind of spiritual foundations yoga, you'd have to kind of go to a Big Apple and try it out over there. Then there's another new form of yoga that has been kind of talked about as well, and this is about the restorative yoga, more precisely Iyengar yoga. Some of these styles of yoga is very hard to pronounce, so I hope I'm pronouncing them right. And this promotes relaxation and in turn healing and balancing the body. And this is often referred to as restorative yoga, as it focuses on health and aligning the body. But it's also one of the oldest forms of yoga, and originated in India by a teacher called BKS Iyengar. And the style of yoga was developed when Iyengar wanted to improve his health while suffering from tuberculosis. And there is an emphasis on the body's alignment within every pose. And unlike Ashtanga, where you quickly transition from one pose to the next and you hold the poses for longer periods of time, often you'll use things like blocks and cushions and straps to help you correct the alignment. And so this style of yoga is suitable for all levels, and it aims at teaching you the fundamentals while correcting your posture, and builds a strong foundation and technique, as with all the other styles of yoga. So anyone with sort of health issues or needing realignment can kind of benefit from that. So as you can see, there's heaps of different styles of yoga, and hopefully this has sort of gained you some clarity. When I was sort of researching all of this and getting my head around it, I know at times it's when you hear these sorts of names, it just sort of goes over your head, and you're like, I just want to do yoga, I just want to get my body feeling good, I want to do some stretching, and that's where I'm kind of coming from. I'm not by any means trying to say I'm super experienced and done all this exotic training in yoga. I'm just simply doing yoga because it makes my body feel good. I'm mobilizing my body, I'm stretching it, and I'm sharing that with you guys in a way that I know how to, and in a way that I personally love. And so that's the style of yoga that I like to share. And so for me, it's really kind of exciting discussing sort of different types of yoga and getting clarity on it, because then it gives you the confidence to know the range that is available, and some of it can be about strength and building stamina, endurance, while other parts of it can be about de-stressing, repairing and healing the body. And there's just so much benefit from including yoga. So if you're wanting to purely increase your strength and your stamina, you can do that through the power of yoga practice. But if you're also wanting to slow down, restore, rebalance, you can also do that through yoga. So it's just by starting to include it into your life, I think there is some real profound benefits, but not kind of, I guess, the mentality. Like when I first started doing yoga, I was at university and I had just started teaching RPM, and I was at Les Mills down there, and I was doing my personal training, and I was taking people for weight, doing, resistance training workouts, and I was running, and I was doing everything. And I just simply didn't have time for yoga. Like, yoga just seemed to me, if I wasn't going to get a sweat on, if I wasn't getting my heart rate up, what's the point? It seems lovely. It's like it's one of those things that, it'll be lovely to do, but what's the point? I've got too many other things to do. But then when I started to make sure that I included it into my life and started heading along to the balance classes and started getting it in, then it was just, you start to notice the amazing effects that it has on all the other aspects of your training. And even if you only need to do it once a week, you will notice a difference in the way that it rebalances you, the way that it centers you, grounds you, and just gives you that kind of restful peace of mind. And we're all just so busy, being busy all of the time, and I totally get it, that feeling of, I just don't have time for yoga. Oh, that would be lovely. I don't even have 10 minutes, I should spend that 10 minutes running because I've got to run off and burn some calories, and yoga won't do that for me. But that power of, on the right day, if you were to do yoga instead of that run, it's going to have most probably more of a profound effect on your life than running every single day. And so just incorporating it in, even if you're somebody who loves like thrashing your body, or you're a CrossFitter, or you're doing the hits all the time and you haven't yet dabbled in yoga, just putting 10 minutes aside and starting to try it can have a really massive effect. So try it out and see how your body goes. And like I said, I don't put a name on what my style of yoga is, but there is heaps of different ones within the online gym. I've got the power yoga in there, which is it's a much more intense sort of yoga. It gets your heart rate up, more challenging. It's got some more gymnastics sort of moves and strength moves. I like to just call it more party tricks in it. Then we've got much more gentle, like Yin Yoga. Then we've got release classes, which incorporates a bit of Tai Chi, a bit of Vinyasa flow, a bit of Yin Yoga slow holds. And then I've got beginners yoga and some short, like 10-minute yoga as well. So there's over 100 different in there, plus what's coming up with the retreat too, which is another 20 different videos as well, and workouts. So there's always new stuff going in, and it's always got different styles. I should come up with a really cool exotic name for my style of yoga, but I haven't yet. So if you think of anything, let me know. I'd like to, it could be something quite cool to develop in the future. But anyway, I'll just keep sharing what I want to share and keep sharing what I'm learning and what I know I love, and I hope that you love the journey as well. And let me know how you get on and what style of yoga that I'm sharing you like the most, or if you're out there going to classes, if you found another style of yoga, let me know. And try out the huge benefits of what yoga is, and start to add that into your life, and let me know how you get on. Hey, so thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you've got a topic that you want me to discuss, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Otherwise, I hope to have you share this online yoga retreat with us and be part of the online community. So check it out, foreverfityoga.com or foreverfit.tv/online gym, and be part of this amazing experience that is our online yoga retreat. See you really soon. Go out there, keep doing amazing things, keep leading a life that inspires inspires and energizes you. And go out there and do something great today.